The public sector in Scotland today faces a huge range of IT challenges. It would be great if someone just came along and put solutions in a box for us, but that's not the way it works. Every time we face a new IT challenge, we enter the maze which is the marketplace of products and services. What we may not be aware of is that there are other public sector organisations, perhaps right next door to you, who've already entered the maze and gone through it and come out the other side with successful solutions. If, for instance, you're a university, you may know what other education sector bodies are doing. But do you know what Scottish Water are doing, or the Scottish Police Services authorities, or local councils? Wouldn't it just be great if everybody could share information? Meaning, rather than reinventing the wheel on a continuous basis, you could go to a place where you could be convinced that the solutions you were looking at were already tried and tested. A simple first step towards this would be to bring together senior IT professionals across all of the public sector and collaborate. All we need to do is share case study information. That's a great starting point. There are loads of successful products and projects out there. The problem is, nobody has enough time to go around the whole of the public sector looking at what anyone else is doing. They're too busy solving their own problems. Whilst this is completely understandable, why don't we just recycle the successful projects and utilise them elsewhere? And while you're about it, why not look at the unsuccessful projects too? Highlighting poor products or levels of service from particular vendors can almost be as important as finding the good ones. Then, if there are particular aspects that you found a challenge within projects, you could bring these up too. So if security's been a problem, highlight it so that other people don't face the same issues. Then, if there's new technology to be discussed, bring that to the table too. So if you're having a look at cloud computing or software as a service, and you've got some return on investment models or total cost of ownership, discuss those as a group and why it might be advantageous to take up this type of strategy. If you've recently deployed products successfully, why not just share that information with others? Let them know how much you've spent and what the returns were. The focus in public sector largely is about purchasing. Really, it should be about total cost of ownership and return on investment as an overall value model. This is where the savings are to be made, not on a single one-off purchase and buying the cheapest possible item. Taking these into account, you will end up with a nice tick list of areas of savings that you know are guaranteed to provide you with returns, and you'll have the facts and figures to support this. Once you have this type of information and case studies, why not simply publish them? Let the whole of Scotland know that the public sector is reforming and is saving money, and how it's doing it. A lot of data is already there, it's just that it's currently sitting in separate silos under different organisational banners. So it's just a question of bringing it all together into one place, and that's where I would see a focus group fitting in. That could develop to be websites or regular meetings, however you see it moving yourselves. The cloud may not be a bad place to store all of this. We'll come to more of that a little later. So, public sector reform and focus specifically, I think I'm really speaking about leveraging expertise that's already out there, creating a quick hit list, looking at longer term goals and overall strategy, right from conception through to the projects themselves and to operational delivery. That's also going to involve skilling up your people to help support these ideas, and we'll discuss that a little later. The overall goal is to have a national ICT strategy rather than multiple strategies in multiple locations, continuously reinventing the wheel. There are lots of experts available in the public sector with fantastic best practice and industry knowledge. Why not utilise it all? Let's have a look at a few examples. Within the Scottish Police Services Authority, they have an award-nominated service desk, and they're currently going through a process of introducing patch management. This will make their environment more secure, but also save them money. Tom Mortimer at the University of Dundee is also the chair for UCISA, so he's got access to loads of information. There's some fantastic recent documents on overall thoughts for forthcoming IT projects from UCISA. Peter Kirkwood at Scottish Enterprise is head of the ITSMF in Scotland, so he'll have access to private sector knowledge as well as public sector knowledge. Audrey MacDonald at the Scottish Government, a regular speaker at the Association of Project Managers. Peter Sweeney, probably one of the first ITIL and Prince2 qualified personnel in Scotland, responsible for running IT across multiple countries for DFID. Steve Watt, CIO at St Andrews, has already outsourced his email and been involved in some collaborative shared services for Service Desk with other universities. Janice Riley at Scottish Water has been through more outsourcing projects than you can shake a stick at, and John McClellan, author of the recent public sector reform document. So there's certainly no shortage of talent out there in Scotland. So let's have a quick look at some of the more detailed project areas where people are already making returns. I'm going to focus on a few that I've done some research on. So, deploying an intelligent power management tool can save you a small fortune. But you don't have to take my word for it, you could just ask Tom Mortimer. He's already done that. Patch management. How can that save you money? Well, Stuart Arnott at the SPSA has already done that. So I'm not restricting things to those few areas. You can just continue this model on and on. So if you're interested in document management, for instance, I can tell you Perth and Kinross Council are currently out to tender for a full content management system. Something you probably wouldn't know unless that was being shared in a group. Print management, another area, Stirling University, currently out to tender. All the information that they gather for those tender processes, and indeed bring back in again, could be very valuable. Yet at the moment, that's continuously repeated again and again. Taking some other examples off there. If you're extending your wireless LAN capability, do you just go and buy more boxes from Cisco? Well, there are other services out there that are far cheaper. You just need to find out what they are. Sharing information with other people can save you all the trouble. Let's put some numbers against some of these examples. There are over 500,000 public sector PCs and laptops. Only 50% of those are power managed. So tomorrow, if you went out and spent £5 per PC on each one of those, then you're looking at potential savings of up to £10 million. I may be super ambitious here, but similar numbers apply for patch management and password resets. Facts and figures are there to back these up, but once you start adding them all together, the savings run into many, many millions. If we then take the slightly longer term view of offerings such as hosting and cloud-based solutions, well, the technology is all there now. It's probably more secure than your own environment and more stable. If organisations such as GoCompare and Compare the Market can put their systems side by side in cloud offerings and not worry about security, data protection or uptime, then any public sector organisation can be quite happy that their information is as secure as it possibly could be. In terms of financial savings for this type of operation, I'm probably almost going to run out of space on the screen. Why buy new hardware every 3 years? Pay for contracts and maintenance, power, lighting, air conditioning, the space itself, the cost of disposal. And then there's the back end. If somebody's hosting or offering a cloud solution, they're paying for all the software at the back. The operating systems, the database, support of all of this. There's no surprise upgrades for anything, fixes required, and no resources to support it all. The total cost of ownership model for both cloud computing and hosting are absolutely fantastic. Then we move on to projects. Having researched this to some extent in the public sector, I think I could best describe the project management techniques as variable. The Scottish Government, for instance, have got an excellent programme of education and techniques to ensure that projects are delivered very well. However, in other areas it seems to be totally reliant on individuals, and there seem to be very few structured programs to allow people to become qualified to deliver your very expensive projects. Better qualified staff with the appropriate supervision and tools will undoubtedly deliver your projects in a more timely manner. Investing in people has other benefits too. They'll be more driven and more likely to achieve results for you. Also, if they're achieving higher levels of qualification in terms of project management, they'll need to do case studies on particular projects as part of that qualification. So if they're actually investigating ways to improve projects that they're currently running, then there's the double bonus. They end up with a career path and a qualification, and you end up with your project delivered on time and on budget. So, as we've already discussed, all of the skills are out there within Scotland. It's just a question of getting everybody together. Once you're all in a room, you can make a simple hit list of areas that you know will deliver savings. What's it going to cost you? Well, you all have rooms available, and there's nothing more to it than that, really. What are the savings? Potentially huge. If we just roll up a couple of the numbers that we were talking about earlier, these might be wildly optimistic because they really focus on all of the machines within the public sector. But if I take quick wins, software spending reviews, hosting and improving your projects, they run into tens of millions. But if you also take into account the time that would be saved by not continuously repeating procurement processes, then I think you're probably looking at £500 million in spending, saving in long term. So in the future, what could focus become? Well, maybe not just a group of people sitting together, maybe a complete knowledge centre, with champions in each individual public sector body, and perhaps awards based upon the fact that your champions are saving you significant amounts of money, and if they're running their projects efficiently with the tools to monitor it, they're going to be able to actually give you the facts, figures and numbers to support all of this. The focus could become as big as you want it to be. Perhaps the first stop for all IT professionals when they're looking at areas to save money. In terms of next steps, I already have significant interest in this as a potential project. If you like the look of things, just drop me a line. Based upon the response, I will then approach John McClellan for his approval and buy-in. I've already got connections via SDS, meaning that I have access. Thanks for your time today. If you'd like a little more information on any of the specific areas that I've spoken about, you can have a look around my website, it500.co.uk. You'll find supporting documentation in the library and other video presentations under ITTV. Hopefully we'll be speaking soon. Bye for now.